S.S.S. Vayishlach, Tov Shin Pei Vav. What a parsha! This week's parsha. I don't know how to say it. Like, it's so much fun to talk about this week's parsha. There's just so much good stuff in it, and so much to talk about. So we try to find an angle that we haven't hit in the last 16 years. I'm not sure we found something that we totally didn't broach the subject, but definitely a different angle from the Nesivos Shalom. And our parsha begins with Yaakov Avinu. Yaakov Avinu is preparing for his meeting up with his twin brother. His twin brother Esav, with his entire entourage. And really, as we know, Yaakov Avinu did not know exactly what to expect. I mean, last he saw Esav, for sure, it had to be pretty scary when you don't know what's going to be. You don't know what your brother's going to do. Last Yaakov knew Esav wanted to kill him. Yaakov Avinu had to leave his parents' house and run away, and he went away for many years. And now he was a totally different person, coming back with wives, children, family. So much has changed, but yet in Yaakov's mind, despite the fact that Yaakov changed so much, he wasn't sure that Esav changed. And last he knew, Esav wanted to kill him. Why did Esav want to kill Yaakov Avinu? Because Esav had this perception that Yaakov made off with the brachas, as we know, and he thought the brachas were rightfully his. Esav thought that they were his, and in his mind, Yaakov Avinu tricked him and made off with the brachas. So now Yaakov is preparing himself, and here comes Esav with 400 men, looking like he's ready for war. Yaakov got advance warning, and they told Yaakov Avinu, Esav, your brother, your beautiful twin brother, is on his way, but he's coming with a lot of people with him. He has 400 men with him, and of course, if you're going with 400 men, we would think that you're not up to so good, that you're here to fight and you're here to start a war. So Yaakov Avinu prepared himself in different ways, as we know, with tefillah, with presents, for war. He prepared himself for any eventuality, for anything that may happen over here. And Yaakov says the following. The Torah tells us that Yaakov says, Hatzileni no miyad ochi, save me please from my brother, miyad Esav, from the hands of Esav. And the pasuk tells us why. Ki yorei anochi Esai, I'm afraid of him. Pen yavoi v'hikani emal banim, that Esav's going to come here. He's not going to have any rachmanas. He's going to wipe everybody out right away. He's going to he's going to see the family, the children, everything. I'm afraid. So Yaakov Avinu asked, Hatzileni na, save me, miyad ochi, from the hands of my brother, miyad Esav. And then the Nesivos Shalom points out, as you're all thinking right now, that we need to understand why Yaakov Avinu had to use the word yad. He had to use the word miyad twice. Why didn't Yaakov Avinu just say miyad ochi Esav? Save me from the hands of my brother Esav. Why from miyad ochi miyad Esav? From the hands of Esav. So Nesivos Shalom explains that the Torah tells us that, as we know, you read to the Psukim, Yaakov Avinu split his family into two separate groups. Now, let's just preface this by saying that the Mefarshim tell us in many different ways that the way we read the words of the pasuk is not exactly the only thing that's going on here. It's so deep what's going on here. The fight between Yaakov and Esav wasn't just that it would maybe be a physical fight. We're talking about here, there were worlds clashing. The world of Yaakov which represented everything good in the world, in Torah and Avodah, and everything that Yaakov Avinu got from the Avos. And then there was Esav, who lived by the opposite standards. And Yaakov Avinu, now he split his family into two groups, and these two groups represented something. Vayomer, im yovoy Esav el hamachaneho ha'achas v'iko, if Esav is going to come, and he's going to smite, he's going to fight with, and maybe chas v'shalom wipe out one of these two groups, at least half, at least the other group will be saved. Okay, there are many questions, like how did Yaakov know that one group would be saved? Maybe Esav would wipe out both groups, so we're not going to address that at this point. But Mefarshim tell us, what was the main fear of Yaakov? Yaakov Avinu was not really afraid of Esav physically. Yaakov knew Hashem promised him, he's going to watch him. He wasn't afraid of Esav really. Physically, that wasn't the main concern of Yaakov Avinu. The main concern was that the Yetzer Hara, represented by Esav, whatever Esav represents, that's going to come and overwhelm the entire camp of everyone in Yaakov with full force. That it's going to overrun them. So Yaakov Avinu split the group into two different parts. But what are those two different parts? See, the Shalom tells us something very deep. Yaakov Avinu was afraid that Esav spiritually would overwhelm his entire family. So he split his family into two different ways of serving HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Two different ways of Avodas Hashem. And in Avodas Hashem, there are those who are Oved Hashem, that they're able to block out everything in this world. Right? Maybe we know one, two people like that, special, certain Gedolim. Maybe in those generations there were more people, but there are people who are able to serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu and block out the entire world. I'm not nispal from anything. I don't see anything. I don't need anything. I don't do anything. It's Avodas Hashem, and that's it. In the world, these people live in a world of no Gashmias, only Torah. And then there's the second group, which most of us and most people ever in the history of the world, they're going to fit into that category. And what's that group? That group is where you're Oved Hashem with Torah and Avodah. You are Oved Hashem, but you serve Hashem and you grow and you become a better person by things of Olam Hazeh too. And we know we're all very familiar with such kind of people, because most of us are those kind of people where we learn and we daven and everything, but we live in this world and we do pay attention to this world. As we've said from the Koshen Tzemagid's Chusi Yogan Aleinu, we've said over on numerous occasions, Koshen Tzemagid says, we say, Mola ha'aretz kinyanecha. One way of translating those words, a little bit of a play on words, Mola ha'aretz kinyanecha, that the entire world is full of ways, kinyanecha, where you could acquire Hashem. When the things that you do in this world, the way you do things, the way you eat, the way you drink, your interactions with your family, with friends, with your co-workers, with people that you come in contact with, every opportunity, every place that you go, and everything that you do is an opportunity to become closer to Hashem, to make a Kiddush Hashem, and do things right. Everything you do. You have a choice in front of you. Am I going to do this right? Is this the way Hashem wants me to do it? And if you follow that way, then you are acquiring Hashem by making use of the things of Olam Hazeh, and you grow as a Yid and you make a Kiddush Hashem. This was the second group of Yaakov. A little bit of a deeper understanding of how Yaakov split everyone up. This was the second way to fight Esav. One group would fight Esav, Kulei Avodas Hashem. The other group would fight Esav. It was Avad, we're doing Avodas Hashem, but we also live in this world. So Yaakov Avinu said V'hoyo ha-machaneh hanishar lefleito. Nesivos Shalom says ha-machaneh. With that hey, the hey that tells us ha-machaneh, that machaneh, that the one that is much more at risk, v'hoyo ha-machaneh hanishar lefleito, that is the one that is more at risk because they are involved. People who are out there in the world of Gashmias, and you have to tread very carefully what you do with the Gashmias in this world. That's the group. That group, Yaakov Avinu was talking about, the ones more at risk. That was Hamachaneh. And the Birkas Abraham would say over that just as Chazal tell us, and this is, when I saw this in Nesivos Shalom, it's such a beautiful thought. Everybody knows this Maimer Chazal, right? And I don't say everybody, but many people do. La'olam yasik b'toira shaloi lishma. A person says, what do you mean? I'm not going to learn because I'm really learning only for a shidduch. I'm learning to get paid. I'm learning, I don't really mean it l'shem shamayim, so I'm never going to learn. No, so Chazal say, don't do that. La'olam yasik b'toira shaloi lishma. You're not lishma, you're doing it for ulterior motives, for other reasons. Learn anyway. Why? We all know, shemitoich shaloi lishma, ba lishma. Because once you get yourself into the habit, and you're learning, you're doing ma'asim tovim, you're doing things right, then from doing it shaloi lishma, one day you'll get there, you'll see, you're going to do things lishma. Says in the Nesivos Shalom, from the Birkas Avraham would say, it works the other way too. And listen to what he's saying. So as people go out to work, people leave the Dalet Amos, you leave the four walls of the Beis Medrash, of the Beis HaKnesses, you go out, you work, and you go out into Olam Hazeh, and you're working, you're doing things of Gashmias. Why? For reasons of Lishma. Because I have to get married, I have to raise a family, I have to make parnasa. Those are reasons of Lishma. You do it for all the right reasons. But what happens? All of a sudden, the Lishma turns into a Shaloi Lishma. It works the other way too. Originally, you have all these great intentions. That I'm out there, I'm going out in the world Lishma. Because I have to bring up my family, I have to support my family, I have to do things. But what happens? Then the Gashmias, you see, the good life, what you perceive as a good life, it takes you over and it controls you. The luxuries and the Gashmias become the focus of your life. You want more pleasure, you want more things. So Yaakov Avinu, says the Nesivos Shalom, was being mispalo for that camp. Yaakov Avinu was being mispalo for those who go out lishma, but then it turns into shaloi lishma because we lose control of ourselves. Yaakov Avinu was being mispalo for that camp, those people that need to be out of Olam Hazeh, because they are in the biggest danger. So when Yaakov Avinu said twice, he said miyad achi, miyad esav, Yaakov Avinu was talking about the same person. Yaakov Avinu was talking about the person who starts off, miyad achi. Yeah, I'm doing the right thing. I'm doing Gashmias. I'm out in the world and everything. But later on, when you think it feels good, it turns into miyad esav. So it can't say miyad achi esav. Miyad achi, miyad esav. It's the two very same parts that could be part of the same person. We just lose control of ourselves. First, we're one person, and then we morph into another person. So let's remember our purpose. Yaakov Avinu was being mispalo for us, for most of us, that yes, we have to be out in the world. And because we're out in the world, we're in much more danger than the person sitting in the Beis Medrash that could sit there a whole day and not pay attention to Olam Hazeh. But Yaakov Avinu was being mispalo for us, that we should not lose control. That we should understand that we're starting Lishma, should stay Lishma. And that's the part of the family of Yaakov Avinu that we should understand, that we want to remain part of those who serve Hashem and Olam Hazeh and grow from everything that we do here.